Hey, we always love to take time to listen to what our viewers are telling us they want more of. And what you've been really clear about is you want to see more than one video every week. So I don't know if you saw it or not, or if you missed it, but we just started a brand new Friday video series called Frugal Friday Tips. We did the first one on Friday, so we wanted to make sure that you knew that every Friday we'll be coming your way with kind of an informal look at frugal tips to make your life easier and to help you save more money. Now on to today's topic. It's time for Q&A. It's all the questions that you have sent in to us that you would love to hear us answer. Hi, I'm Hope.
And I'm Larry.
From Under the Median. A week ago, we asked you to send us your questions. And today on the program, we are going to answer them. You sent us some great questions, and they range from everything from what do we like to eat for breakfast to questions about whether our grown sons are following in our steps in frugality. So we're going to get started. We actually got over 30 questions. So you guys had some great ones. We're not going to be able to get through all of them in this program. So if you send in a question and we didn't answer it, don't worry. We are going to be doing this once a month, so we will answer your question in a future Q&A broadcast.
And if you haven't sent a question
Yes.
in, by all means, send them in.
I was just getting ready to say that. So go ahead and leave your questions for us in the comment section, and we will add them to the list. All right, so questions. Number one, Folksy Girl asks us, would you explain what we spoke of about shoes? Now, she's referring back to a conversation that we had, the two of us, about shoes. When are $110 shoes a wiser purchase than a $42 pair, and why? Okay, so the background of this is she made a comment on a video that we did a while back on 10 items that we don't spend money on.
Okay.
And we mentioned that we don't spend a lot of money on clothing. We buy clothing from used clothing stores. And she made a comment. She said, I agree with you on clothing, but she said shoes are really just, man, that's something I can see where you can make a case for buying brand new shoes. So I responded to her and said, actually, I agree with you. When I worked in a professional capacity at a radio station, I was on my feet all day. I had to dress in business attire, and I went out and bought a really good pair of navy blue leather pumps. And I wore them every day.
I did the same thing when I was working. Believe it or not, I had a job working in parking enforcement for a couple of years. It was kind of an in-between job to stay at the city where I worked for. And I bought a good pair of shoes at a, I would call it a high dollar shoe store. And it was worth it because once again, like Hope, I was on my feet quite a bit of the day and I needed a good pair of shoes.
Right. So I wore these blue leather pumps every day for 5 years. And when they wore out, you know what I did? Actually, Larry was the one that had to tell me. These shoes, literally, they were falling apart. And about the time that like the toes of the shoes started completely falling apart, and Larry looked at me and he said, you will go tomorrow and you will buy new shoes. So I went to the mall, to the very same shoe store that I had been at 5 years before, took the shoes in. I said, I'm replacing these. And they looked at the shoes. They said, yes, ma'am, you are. And I said, I want a pair just like these. And I paid $50 for them. This was probably almost 30 years ago. And I walked back out with my pair of shoes and worn them every day for the next 5 years straight. Now, why was that worth that to us? Because we're the frugal people, right?
Right.
So I think part of the point we're making here is there are exceptions to every rule, and there are actually specific things that we are willing to shell out the money for and pay money for things because there are certain things that we find worthy of spending money on. We're actually going to do a video about that sometime in the future here on 10 things that we actually do spend money on. And shoes, good shoes, are one of those things. So the answer to the question, folksy girl, is the difference between a $42 pair of shoes and a $110 pair of shoes is what, about 65 bucks. So no, really seriously, I think you have to look at reviews of the shoes. You've got to really try them on. We discovered this the hard way with shoes.
Yeah.
You really need to go to a local shoe store. You need to go ahead and get fitted properly before you buy them. And then you need to look up reviews and then determine which of the shoes is best going to meet your purposes. The difference between those shoes isn't the cost. It's whether they're going to last longer and whether they're going to suit your purpose. That is the difference.
And, just to make another point, sometimes it's good to spend a little extra money to get some longevity out of a pair of good shoes. And let me give you a quick example. I bought not one, but 3 pairs of these shoes that were at a discount shoe store, and they were on the closeout table.
Yeah.
So they had 3 pairs of these in my size. $15 a pair. So I bought 3 pairs because 3 pairs is cheaper than 1 pair of regular price shoes. Well, they didn't hold up at all. In fact, I still have 1 pair left, and the soles just flop around on them. I'm going to have to get some Gorilla Glue or something and put them back together. But they were not well made. Okay, so here's the cheap shoe, all right? And I go walking down the halls at work, and it's like, da-dump, 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 da-dump. So people are laughing at me. So, no more of those.
Buy good shoes. There you go. So, yep, sometimes, folksy girl, you just got to pay for a good pair of shoes. Carrie asks us a couple of questions. What stores do you find offer the best prices? Your local grocery store or Walmart, Aldi, etc.? And then she wants to know what our favorite vegan breakfast meals are. We are incredibly, and I do mean incredibly, boring when it comes to breakfast. Every morning we eat
oatmeal. Well, we eat one of 2 kinds. We either eat rolled oats or we eat steel cut oats. How about that? Variety. Wow.
That's as far as it goes with variety for breakfast cereal as far as we are concerned. We just really, that's pretty much it. Every once in a while, like on a Sunday night, I'll make a batch of homemade pancakes. Mm-hmm. So that's where we go for variety.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of that. I made French toast the other day, which was like huge in our family because I never make French toast.
We used to do a little bit more variety in terms of breakfast cereal, but we get the oats in 50-pound bags. It's just very economical to buy and eat. We all love them, and they hold you well. They stay with you all morning, so it's just a good thing to eat. I don't get tired of them. So
there you go, oatmeal. That's it.
Pretty
so
basic.
The other question: where do we find the best prices? So I have to say that as far as grocery store prices are concerned, all right, and I would love to know. Those of you who are watching, I honestly want to know what your thoughts are on this because we have found a variety of answers in the past when we've sort of asked questions like this.
Let me give the first one.
I am not a Walmart shopper.
Yeah, the first one is the store overall in our area that's the cheapest, bar none, is Aldi. Yeah. They are absolutely the cheapest. We don't buy everything from Aldi, but we find that they're just basic things like mustard, ketchup, salad dressing. Once in a while we do buy bread. Hope makes a lot of bread, but if we buy bread, it's cheaper there. Bar none, they are really cheap. And we have compared their prices against other stores.
So, and having said that, we actually at one point a few months ago did kind of a mini price book where we went through Aldi and found the items that we buy regularly there. So we figured out the size package, the price per ounce, price per pound. Then we went to Sam's because we have a Sam's Club membership. Now, there's something that's open to debate as well. If you want to tell me in the comments whether you think that's worth the money or not. And we priced the same items at Sam's Club and figured out the price per ounce. And believe it or not, Aldi was cheaper on several different products. One of them was, I think they were, Aldi's was cheaper on flour, slightly.
Mm-hmm. Sugar,
and
cheaper on
sugar.
But we have found coffee better at Sam's. And I think it's a little bit better quality coffee. And this is what we buy. It's called, how'd you pronounce that, Hope?
Verena Street Coffee.
Verena Street Coffee. There it is. I'll zoom in on it. There. So that is good coffee. That's whole bean, and we grind it up, and I set the coffee pot to go off at 6 o'clock every morning, so I got automatic coffee every morning.
So now you know, we spend money on shoes, and we spend money on coffee. There you go.
Okay.
Number 3, Esther would like to know, do your children follow a vegan diet, even the ones who have moved out? Okay, we're going to answer this question together. You ready?
No.
All right. The ones that live at home don't really get a choice because I do all the cooking. Actually, our 16-year-old Daniel, if you've watched some of our other videos, you know that he's my sous chef, and he actually does all the cooking with me. He would probably, out of the 4 boys, he will be the one who will
He'll follow it. Even
as an adult, he will probably stay vegan.
Now, Philip will eat some other things if he goes out. I don't know, he's out with friends and they're having hamburger or something. He'll eat that. So, but here at home, he eats what Hope makes.
Philip is our youngest son. Now,
Yeah.
our oldest 2 sons are adults. They live on their own, and they eat far more vegan than I thought they would. But it's not really for the health benefits for them.
Money.
Yeah,
money,
it's money.
money.
It's because
Cheaper.
it's cheaper.
Yeah.
So they eat quite a few vegan meals every week. But yeah, they buy a little bit of meat, a little bit of cheese, and so yeah, they're not vegan.
Yeah, they're frugal, but they're not vegan.
Frugal. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, here's our next question. This is from 3ST. I don't know what that stands for, but it says, how do you stay frugally focused? And what do you personally do to not compare yourselves with others? Well, I think staying frugally focused for Hope and I has just been a matter of survival. I mean, it was out of necessity. And what's interesting about that, and I can roll this in, when Hope was living on her own, she'd moved out of her parents' house, was sharing a home with 2 other gals. She had to live very frugally. That's where she really learned the art, because she was making a little above minimum wage and sharing a house. Actually, it was a house with 3 other gals. She got it down to a fine art.
Is that sear rib?
It's very important to me to get the last bit out. This is what I've learned from living on my own the past 3 years, is that you can't afford to waste things. Rule number 1, do not throw, mutilate, strangle, or destroy food.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
Okay.
So I prayed for a wife that knew how to handle money. So right off the bat, we kind of started out. We've refined it, I would say, a great deal over the years. Now, as far as comparing ourselves to others, we just don't do it. I mean, do we do that? I don't think we
Not
do.
often. I think the hardest time period for us was when we were still living in our itty bitty tiny cracker box house, and all
We
of our
loved that
friends.
house.
It was a great house.
Yeah.
All of our friends had bought their second home. All of them had, and they were all living in these big, large homes in really nice neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And here we were, kind of not. But the thing was, I mean, we knew we had goals. We knew we wouldn't be there forever. But the period of time that we actually wound up staying there was substantially longer than we thought it would be. When we bought that little house, we looked at each other and said, this is a 10-year house. So our goal was to move in 10 years, and we were there 18 years. So just that period of delayed gratification where we knew the goal was to not be there any longer, but we had to be there because we weren't prepared financially to move yet. That was hard. That was the hardest part, was really not comparing ourselves to where the rest of our friends were. But other than that, we've kind of marched the beat of our own drummer most of our married life, and it hasn't bothered us too much.
No.
All right, question number 5. Sheila wants to know, do you have any family pets, or have you ever had them? Oh my gosh.
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh. All right, now Larry's going to tell you all about our pet and put in copious amounts of photos and video to show you our amazing dog. But how did we incorporate their needs into our budget? We kind of So we called the vet and we found out what a yearly vet visit was going to cost. We found out exactly what the seasonal spray for pests so they don't get bit. Flea and tick, that's it.
Yeah.
The flea and tick medication, and we found out
The rabies-
what
the
the
rabies
rabies shots,
shot.
because that's required in our neck of the woods. We found out what everything was going to cost. So before we got the dog, we did a cost analysis and said, this is what we think the dog is going to cost. We figured in food, and Shelby had her own little budget for one new toy a month. Yes, she did.
And I want to say we got a black lab golden retriever mix from the pound, so we were frugal on that. We went to the pound. We got the dog 2 years before we had kids, so kids weren't in our budget yet. So we had money for the dog. We had money because we didn't have kids. Okay, kids add a lot more. So we started out with the dog. We figured if we did okay with the dog, we could probably have kids. The dogs. We kept the dog alive, so we figured, okay, we're on for it. But anyway, we had the dog for like 16 years. I mean, she's lasted a long time. And that's the only dog we've ever had. The only other pet we've had, our son James had a cockatiel, and that was on him. He if I recall, he paid for it. Did he not pay for that?
He saved money.
Yeah.
And he was what? I think he was about 12, maybe?
I think so. I think about 12.
11
yeah.
or 12. He found out what a cockatiel was going to cost. He got a rescue cockatiel, and he saved up the money for himself to pay for that cockatiel.
And we paid for the food, I believe.
Yeah, we
didn't
did. We paid for the food and that kind of thing. But that was a spoiled bird.
Oh, yeah.
The bird would like fly around and land on your shoulder and hang out with you, and you pet it. And
It was a pet. It really was a pet.
was a pet. It was a nice bird.
It
Very
was
nice bird.
cute. It was a cute bird.
Yeah.
So we've only had 2 pets. Right now we are petless. We have no pets. We are without a dog.
I go through this daily, you guys.
We're without a dog.
Oh my gosh.
We have no dog.
He just periodically looks at me throughout the day and goes, you know what?
We're without a dog. Without a dog.
We're without a dog.
We are without a dog. There's a long.
Don't encourage him. You
There's a long
do
story
not
about how I
encourage
got
him.
her to get
Oh
a
my
dog, but
gosh.
we don't have time for that in this video.
Oh my word. We will tell the dog story sometime, but somebody
It's a
that
classic.
should have known better said, if God drops a dog at our doorstep, I'll consider it. So we'll tell the story one of these days.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
Regina, is that right?
Regina.
Regina,
Yep.
have you guys ever tried the cash envelope system? If so, do you have any tips? Don't do it. That's my tip.
Okay.
Wait a
My
minute.
tip is-
Let's finish out. Pros and cons. Oh, yeah. Now, people think we agree on everything. No, we do not. And this is one of them. So you're going to get to see it for the first time on our videos. But let me read the rest of it. It's my favorite way to budget, but I always leave fixed income in the bank.
Do you want to say anything more about it before I give my opinion, or you just...
I hate envelopes. Here's the deal with the envelopes, okay? I don't like to carry cash. Anyway, we have 2 debit cards. We don't have any credit cards, just 2 debit cards. I would just rather use a debit card and track the money on the computer through our budget. So we know intellectually how much money we have. We don't have to have an envelope to tell us how much money is left in it. And I just think it's just too mechanical. I don't know. It's too limiting. And I think that the budget on some items should be a little more fluid. You know, it isn't like you have to put it in a box and you're just nailed down to that amount of money and you can't go out of the box. Oh, we've got 59 cents left. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do now? So Hope tried the envelope system. We really don't do it. We're not doing the envelope. When was the last time we did the envelope system?
The last time the budget got out of whack. That's the last time. So
Was that last week?
I like the envelope system. And the minute that my grocery budget goes wacko and gets out of whack, then I get the money from the bank, I put it in the envelope, and it works like a charm every single time. Despite the fact that every time he sees the envelope with the label on it that says grocery money, and the money is in there, he goes, "What? No! Tell me we're not doing the envelope system again." And I'm like, look, when it gets back into control, under control, then we don't have to do it anymore. But
Okay, then there's those times when you forget to write the item down on the program that you use, the Dave Ramsey budget program. And so all we have to do is go into our bank account and look up the debit card expenditures, and it will tell us where we spent the money and how much. So that covers it right there. Oh, we spent $5.25 at Aldi's because we really splurged that day.
Look, if we're taking the money out of an envelope, there is no doubt as to how much is left in there. So y'all can vote in the comments section whether you think that Larry's right. You can just track it with your debit card, or whether you think I'm right. And there are merits to the envelope system.
When we're not using the envelope system, what I usually will ask Hope is, before we go out, get in the little car and drive to the store, how much money do we have in our budget for this month for groceries? And she'll come up with a figure. Sometimes it's laughable, but she'll come up with a figure. Maybe it's $60. Okay, so
That's not laughable. That's a lot of money.
That's not laughable. The laughable ones is like when it gets down to $12 and something. But then we'll take a calculator at the store and add up each item as it goes to track it. So that's what we basically do there. Next.
Okay, I'm afraid to read anymore. All right. Guy asked, "Hey guys,
Hi guys.
do
Hi,
you
guys.
talk about living off of 60%, saving 15, emergency savings 15%, retirement 10%, and giving to others first 10%?" Okay, so Guy, the answer is that
That's a great question. Yeah. It really is. It's a good question.
our percentages are skewed. And the reason they are skewed is because we got a late start on retirement. So we do not put 15% toward retirement. We put more than that toward retirement.
The maximum amount allowed by law.
We max out both Roth IRAs every year, and we also contribute to his retirement program at work. So our retirement percentages are more than that. They're probably closer to 25% at this moment, just putting toward retirement every year.
We
So-
got behind the 8 ball on that one.
and that was our fault. That was like a bad
And we
bad
talk about
mistake.
it. We talk about it in one of the videos. Remember
do.
the mistakes that we've made? Yeah. So
Top 5 mistakes we've made with money. I'll
Yeah.
link it above, and I'll link it in the
That's it.
description of the video. You know the drill. It'll be up above and in the description of the video. You want to see the other 4 mistakes that were really bad mistakes we made. So, I'll figure. You know what, Guy? I'll figure out the percentages one of these days. I'll figure it out, and then maybe we'll do a video on it and kind of show our percentages.
Okay, the next question is, yes, you save a lot of money and live frugally, but do you ever spend money just for the heck of it?
Yes. We do, in fact. So we, for the sake of showing you what our idea of spending money on that we don't need. All right, so I'm gonna hold it up here a little bit. I don't know if they can see it that way. All right, so do you see these mixing bowls? I'm gonna hold them up. Wait. Okay,
Wait a
there's
minute.
that one. Wait, and you can see, look, they were brand new. They still have the packing material in them.
Cool. Those are
I
cool.
know,
What
they're
brand are
awesome.
those?
Okay, so I'm going to turn it over and see. Every woman in the audience is going to recognize that label. It's Pioneer Woman. All right.
Oh.
I know. And it's a set of 5 mixing bowls. They're
Cool.
nested mixing bowls. I just bought them. That's why this paper is still in them, because I haven't unpacked them yet. Okay, so the story behind these is I went to pick our son up from work. He works at a local thrift store, and I saw these on the shelf. And so the question is, did I need a new set of mixing bowls?
No, she did not.
Yes, I did. And so, no, I really didn't. I have a couple of sets of mixing bowls, but I use them all the time in my defense. And this is Pioneer Woman, man. And it was a great price. And so I bought them. And it was just for the heck of it because I wanted them. So that's my example. Larry has his.
Okay, so this is really something we didn't need, all right?
No, we didn't.
But you never know when the lights are going to go out. So I found this at our local Mission Mart, $5. And it's old. I mean, this is a really cool, it's kind of an ornate one. And I love kerosene lamps. I collect them. I actually have one that belonged to my mom that they had on the farm in the 1920s. So we light these up in the evening. I'll light 4 of them up, and that will be our ambient light in the room. It also helps heat
He
the
likes
room.
to do it because he's like, this is like the
It's cool.
olden days.
We like old things.
So we've collected antiques for years, for the whole time we've been married. And so for him to find a really cool antique lamp is like, that's huge. So here's what you're noticing, the trend here. I spent under $20, a little under $20 for this whole set of 5 brand new Pioneer Woman mixing bowls, and he spent $5 on the antique lamp. So do we spend money just for the heck of it? We do, but our definition of, how much money we're willing to spend just for the heck of it, probably different than other people's definitions of how much money they are willing to spend. But yep, we absolutely do.
Okay.
Hey, we want to thank you for sending in your questions. We are going to be doing these Q&A videos once a month. So once again, we did not get anywhere near through all of the questions that we got. But if you have a question you've just been dying to ask us and we haven't answered it on any of the videos you've seen, go ahead and drop that question in the comments section of this video. Next week's video is going to be really special for a different reason, because you guys get to pick the topic. So we are going to put a poll up in the community section of this channel. The poll will go live as soon as this video is done premiering on Monday morning. And you will have until midnight on Wednesday night to vote on your choice. Now, there'll be 2 choices, so you're just going to vote for A or B. Okay, so topic A, this is next week's video. Would you like to hear us talk about how to respect your partner while reaching frugal money goals? Or would you like to hear us talk about the topic of, does extreme frugality always lead to greed? And once again, that poll will be in the community section for the channel. Hey, if you enjoyed this Q&A, give us the thumbs up, leave some comments for us in the comments section, and make sure that you're subscribed to Under the Median so that you don't miss any of our great topics. Hi, I'm Hope.
And I'm Larry.
From Under the Median. About a week ago, we put kind of a poll up. No, it wasn't a poll. Hi, I'm Hope.
And I'm Larry.
From Under the Median. A week ago, we asked you to send in questions that you wanted to know the answers from us. And clearly, that's the reason you send in questions. Take 3. Hi, I'm Hope.
And I'm still Larry.
This is the topic.